Alrighty, I'm gonna try to get in this video real quick. Pretty much this video, it was something that was on my mind, and it's pretty much the backstory of how I came to Puerto Rico at this time. You know, before Hurricane Maria came. I came here 10 months ago, and at the time I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I was working and, you know, just doing what everybody does, maintaining, and I'm getting by. And yeah, about 10 months ago, I was laid off from a particular job that I had there, and I was doing other various things like working on-call security, being a Lyft driver, all those little things. And I was actually trying, I was staying someplace, but it wasn't really the place. It was like a temporary place, and I was kind of there for a long time. But you know, the thing about Vegas is, I mean, I had to find out this way too. It's one thing to like buy a house, rent an apartment, but to rent a room in Vegas was a real difficult thing. I never was able to do it. And I'm not talking about the weekly apartments that they have, and you know, many people might be aware of the Seagull Suites and Emerald Stays or something like that. But just like to rent an apartment, I mean, just like rent a room out of somebody's house, you know, just rent a room. Really a difficult task that I never was able to do. And so in all those little things, and laid off and collecting a very crappy unemployment, and still trying to drive for Lyft, and you know, work this on-call security which barely called, you know, all those little things. I had some ideas in my mind, and I decided, you know, my family's in Puerto Rico. If I go to Puerto Rico, I kind of did my research, and I saw that there was Uber in Puerto Rico, and I know that's kind of like a minimal thing, but that was also maybe a little thing that I can do as a supplement. So I thought maybe I could do Uber there in Puerto Rico, drive for Uber. I also was thinking about getting into like Airbnb, and you know, we have a property here in Puerto Rico that I was thinking maybe I could rent it out on Airbnb, you know, and you know, just work it out from there, little things like that. So it's funny, I get to Puerto Rico and I'm just kind of low-key, like, you know, adjusting around family, and I have my little unemployment check, and I actually did get a job working security here in Puerto Rico, which it lasted for 3 months. And the thing is about being any kind of American in Puerto Rico is, even if you get a job here, it's not going to last. Even if you speak the language, majority of the people, if not all, are going to work against you, just for the simple fact that you speak English, you don't speak the language that the way that they expect you to speak it. However, you know, they judge you on how long you've been in the island, you know, what family members of yours were born here, which ones live abroad. So you know, and those are things that I almost feel like they've always been that way, but it just makes it a little bit harder, you know, with the economic situation that had been going on in Puerto Rico to begin with. So you know, it just doesn't make it easy to lose a job in these times for anybody. But you know, if you hear about the $72 billion you know, debt that Puerto Rico was in. It was almost kind of crazy for me to come here. But I always say that, you know, I didn't give up a career, a six-figure income. I didn't give up a multi-million-dollar house that I have stateside. I had nothing. I had nothing. So, you know, I just went home, and home was just to my parents' house. So, you know, and instead of just sitting up in my parents' house and, you know, doing nothing, you know, I try to be a little proactive. But the thing about Puerto Rico is this place really works against you. And not just me or you, it works against everybody. You know, and I know a lot of people can compare and say, you know, oh, that's anywhere, blah, blah. Of course I understand that, but being on an island where you can't escape and just go anywhere, you can't just drive into the next state, you know, it doesn't make it easy. And you know, it's, you know, those little things. So yeah, so and then I was working, job went to hell, a little security 3-month gig I had here. The hurricane came through, Hurricane Maria, and you know, I've been hanging on in here for like a month and a half. I actually now have a flight booked out, hopefully, because even that, I just don't have faith in, you know, that whole situation. I don't know what it's going to look like the day of at the airport, and you know, and it's just a tough situation. But I mean, you know, I do have a flight booked out. Hopefully everything works out, and I'm able to go and relocate, because as far as being here right now, it's not much that I can do to support myself or to help my parents out. And even the thing here is, like, even if you get a little gig or something, being, I don't really know how to say it, but you know, somebody told me that it's kind of like when you go down south, you know, they know when somebody's not from there. You know, when somebody's from the country or somebody's from the city, you know, per se. So, you know, something similar to like that. So, you know, I'm not even getting all mad about it. I'm just, you know, realizing that, you know, unless you have like some residual income, or you got an online business where you don't even have to deal with anybody, you know. But you know, with this situation of the hurricane, this isn't even a place to come down to. Yeah, so that wouldn't even be in my future to even think about establishing myself back down here, even if I had a residual income or some kind of like online thing going on. Something else I wanted to elaborate on was the straight up sabotage that you got going on in this island of Puerto Rico. You know, there's no camaraderie here. A lot of the people here, when the hurricane first came through and we were able to come out of our homes, you know, you had people with roofs, their roofs were off of their homes, and if you went over there to try to like help them, it was kind of like they didn't want you to help. They didn't want to talk to you. They didn't want to deal with you, like even your neighbor. And that kind of, I don't want to say it surprised me, but it made you, you know, take a step back. And you know, it's a lot of I don't know, they say honor your neighbor. It's a lot of like, oh, you're my neighbor, I hate you. You know, I hate you for life. And you know, it's a lot of things that you're just not going to change about this place. But the part that I don't want to use the word regret, but the things that I don't want to use the word regret. I can't even find another word right now. But you know, it's just certain things like, you know, my parents growing old here, and me not one day being able to really be established here to just support them in the long run, you know, as they get older. Or, you know, we have a home here, and it's not something that you could, you know, I know you could probably shut the house up and, you know, go away, but even here, your own relatives will break in your house and, you know, ransack the whole place. So, I don't know, it's just things like that. A lot of the employers that are operating here, they have an attitude as if nothing happened or nothing is happening. You know, you speak to them and you mention something like, oh, how is this or whatever, and it's just like an arrogant attitude, like, oh yeah, we're good, you know. And it's really a evil that has come in, and I don't believe it was brought with the hurricane. But in conclusion, what I'm really trying to say here is I am relocating back stateside, and a lot of it actually doesn't even have to do with the hurricane, post-Hurricane Maria, which you would think it does. I mean, it is a big part, but you can deal, like, with no power, no water, or, you know, water, it gets cut off every other day, you can still kind of get by. But with the sabotage of your own countrymen, I hate to even use that word, but you know, and really having, you know, well, it's not having no place to go, but it's just like, you know, if your family is from any country and you have, you know, homes there, you know, and your world kind of falls apart even at the moment, you know, you go back home to regroup. In Puerto Rico, the attitude here is they don't want anybody here to regroup. A lot of the people here, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it, but even in a hurricane, post-hurricane aftermath, and this was really bad, the attitude is really just an I don't care attitude. And, you know, I hate to even mention that because I am here in Puerto Rico, and any help that comes in, I would need it as well. But it's just really hard to, you know, put a smile on my face and just act like, you know, we're here for Puerto Rico, and we're gonna lift this place up, when the own people here are, it's like everybody's against each other, and it's something that you're not going to see on the news. You know, you have to be here to really, you know, experience and feel it in the air. And it's more than just in the air, but you know what I mean. But you know, I really feel like I'm bashing Puerto Rico, but it is what it is. Things have to be spoken about. You know, a lot of people are asking, oh, what are your parents going to do? You know, my parents live here. You know, and the situation's tough here, but I can't just uproot everybody. Also, you know, I understand in disasters, you know, people do lose homes, and that's probably like one of the worst. If you know, next to like lives being lost, the next thing would be like your entire home being lost or ruined, or, you know, taken in a flood, or, you know, anything like that. And I know this might be a long, like, you know, I don't want to misinterpret what I'm trying to say here. But, you know, people look at it like, oh, you have a home. I mean, I know the paint is horrible up there. We're doing a lot of work around here. But, you know, but people look at it like, oh, you got a roof over your head. And I'm like, you know, yeah, we do. You know, a lot of people don't, you know. But, you know, we were ones that, you know, the house is pretty solid. And, you know, we were, you know, the house was able to maintain. But I just look at it like, you know, when you sit at a bus stop, the bus stop has a roof over it too. I'm just saying, hypothetically. So, just because it has a roof over the bus stop, and I know for some reason think, oh, well, people do sleep at bus stops. But I'm just saying, you really can't just operate from there, you know, just because you have a roof over your head. You know, you got to move, you got to relocate, and, you know, as much as I'd like to just hold it down here, I know that my support here has to come from the outside. So, you know, that's the move that I'm trying to make here. But anyways, that was just something that was on my mind, and you know, I don't know how long this video is. It's about average. But anyways, up until the next one, this is just my little surroundings. This is the way they used to make the driveways in Puerto Rico before. So you know, it's a Caribbean island, so you know, they want a lot of airflow. So that's why you have all that, the holes. And nothing. This is it. Yeah. Alrighty, next time. I don't know what that was. I meant to give. I'm out of here.